Good evening. Programmes for the closed university start in a couple of minutes over on BBC One, with a look at a programme on parents and teenagers, A New Look. But now, on BBC Two, Professor Lawrence Beverley presents the early history of the talent show.
Go. Oh, hello. I'm Lawrence Beverley. You've just caught me in the middle of some important research, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, I'm here to tell you about talent shows. But I'll tell you what, let's not do that in the boring confines of an office. Let's go to the place where the magic happens, or as I like to call it, the theatre of dreams. So here we are, in the theatre. As we begin our historical journey, it's important to remember that not all talent shows throughout history were performed on such solid and polished stages as these. The talent show, or the show of many giftings as it is better known to scholars, has been a part of history since humankind began. It has a long and checkered past, from the swamps of the Amazon rainforests to the polished stage of the show Give Us a Dance, hosted and presented by the young and virile Bruce Forsyth. However, we must start our journey in the ancient past. We must go back thousands of years to the early civilization that is the South American Jambala tribe for our first known reference of the talent show. The earliest evidence has been found on some rocks outside of the Humberto Bagaji crater near the very well-known Simbangala Humbangora Gorge. There, an inscription has been found which is assumed to be a song of praise to the show's presenter. Come back in time with me as I perform this beautiful inscription. Halahumba Namengo, Hoi Shamita Followa Bagdata, Gormon Sampantala Tantalam, Phantom Sompa, Shambita Malunda, Ho Mirth, Enjoy. Other than this brief reference, little is known of the talent shows of the great Jambala tribes of South America in terms of their style and length. Now, it is possible that they may have died out sometime around the tribe's late Middle Dynasty in favour of more popular forms of visual entertainment, such as the Gambata Shambita or game show, or even the Nakamata Gambojora or popular news quiz. Perhaps the next most important historical reference point is the period of the ancient Egyptians. From the many hieroglyphics that make reference of it, we know that the talent show was a widespread phenomenon in this culture. What is less clear is the precise involvement of the pharaohs in the talent show scene. Some argue that the kings were great lovers of talent shows. What is less clear and still debated by scholars is the precise involvement of the pharaohs in the talent show scene. Some argue that the kings were great lovers of talent shows. In particular, a few scholars believe that Tutankhamun himself, perhaps the most well-known of the Egyptian kings, was a firm fan. Now, suggestions, however, that his death may have been related to a juggling fire-eating act gone wrong remain controversial amongst most scholars. What is clear, though, is that Ramesses III was a big supporter of the Cairan talent show and gave great riches to his preferred acts. He particularly loved unicyclists.
Right, ready?
Now, under the ancient Greek civilization, the talent show was adapted greatly, whilst retaining the familiar fun-for-all-the-family character. In particular, the Greeks developed the idea of the judgment panel. This brought more rigorous analysis to the talent proceedings. Many of the great Greeks took part in the great Athens talent shows. Plato was renowned for his inspirational act, whereby he would dress up as a mime artist. On the other side, Socrates was not a fan of talent shows, however, preferring instead philosophy and jazz. The Romans, of course, as is very well documented and known, were big on the idea of talent shows, in particular for improving society and civilization as a whole. In fact, it is well known that the Colosseum was a talent show venue before being turned in. Of course, the great Decimus Maximus Meridius, commander of the armies of the north, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, was in fact a very talented actor before becoming a gladiator, having starred in such roles as the commander of a battleship and as a genius mathematical codebreaker from Cambridge. In this part, we've only been able to look at the first 1,000 years of the talent shows. Coming up in part 2, we'll put more emphasis on the 20th century's adaptation of the talent show. We'll look at Winston Churchill's development of the comedy cigar act, as well as Neil Armstrong's great approach to the moonwalk. But that's all in part 2. Thanks for listening, viewers. I've been Lawrence Beverley. I'll see you again soon.
That was the closed university. This brings an end to our programming. Good night.